Now, with just 2 weeks of the season left to go, every transfer you make is going to be absolutely critical. So here are players to buy and avoid for Game Week 37. So a quick look at the fixtures. I think it's really important to know the games coming up in order to maximise the use of your transfers. There's only 2 weeks left, so to some, you already know what the score is with the fixtures. To some, this might be a reminder, and to some, this might be completely new. So I'm going to go through what I think the best teams are, and it's quite obvious, really. It's the teams with a double game week, except for Chelsea. I think Man City and Man United, I think they're both away games as well in a double game week. You can't really count that. I think that's really difficult and should probably be discounted. Brighton, Southampton, Man City, it's a double, but it's not the best. You know, Southampton is a really good fixture, don't get me wrong. They're already relegated now, unfortunately. And then Man City, I mean, you can't really say that's a good fixture at all. I mean, the way Man City have been conceding goals, you'd imagine Brighton could well score in that game, but keep a clean sheet. I think that's very unlikely. The Man City double, Chelsea and Brighton, is a good double game week. I think certainly for scoring goals, likes of Haaland, etc., are going to be good options. In fact, I think if you got a triple captain left, you could use it there. So yeah, good fixtures for Man City and Man United as well. Bournemouth and Chelsea. That's a great double game week in my opinion, both from attack perspective and defensive. And that's probably a giveaway in terms of some of the players I'm going to suggest. First up then, I've mentioned him in previous weeks, and I think my point still stands. I feel like David De Gea is the best goalkeeper in FPL for the run into the end of the season, primarily because he's almost like what you want Ederson to be, plus someone who actually makes saves as well. I know Man United have been conceding goals this season, but De Gea is actually on track. I think he might have already won it because there's not enough games for other goalkeepers to catch up now. He's got 16 clean sheets. He's on track for the Golden Glove. He's averaging 2.5 saves per game, which is twice as many as Ederson is managing, which suggests, you know, even if he concedes a goal in a game, he may well get a bit of saves bonus to at least not make him blank. Whereas Ederson, you know, if he doesn't get a clean sheet, he's not going to get you the saves bonus to give you any points. Whereas De Gea, he's the complete opposite. He gets both. He gets clean sheets and saves bonus. And I'd also suggest Game Week 37 for Man United is absolutely brilliant. Bournemouth and Chelsea is a lovely double. In fact, I think I've read that Chelsea Man United is the most nil-nilled fixture in the Premier League in history. And that's one of the fixtures in Game Week 37. So that bodes well, in my opinion, for David De Gea. I just think going into Game Week 37, it absolutely makes sense to either keep your Brighton triple up or aim to get yourself tripled up on them. I don't really have too much to say on them. We know how good Brighton have been despite their result against Everton. I think that was a blip on a really good season. And to be honest, I think the players were looking fatigued from all the games they've played. And yeah, De Zerbi doesn't have the biggest squad in the world, so I think he was just struggling with a bit of rotation. But I feel like, you know, going into Game Week 37, they'll have chances to rest themselves a little bit and be ready to go again, to be honest. And my three of choice, I think you can pick from Dunk, Estupinian, Mitoma, McAllister, and I've got Steele in there, but given he conceded 5 goals to Everton, Brighton haven't played in Game Week 36 yet when I'm making this video, so we'll see if Steele starts for them. So I'd make that decision after we know what the Brighton team is. But I'd say my three of choice is Estupinian, McAllister and Mitoma. Okay, my next player, it's a bit Man United heavy for this video, but to be honest, I think it's obvious that you should be targeting those Man United players with the fixtures they've got. I really like Luke Shaw. I think he's the best defensive option for Man United. You've got to think he's nailed to start all of the games that they've got left to go, because he can either play centre-back or left-back. That, you know, that flexibility he has will really benefit Man United. And to be honest, I think he's one of their best players in both of those positions. So, you know, I don't feel like Varane, whilst he was back and started in Game Week 36, I don't think he's going to play both games of the double just because of his injury record. I don't think Ten Hag's going to risk him. So it would suggest to me, unfortunately for some, that maybe Shaw plays centre-back in one of the games. But what it does mean is I really expect him to start both. And to be honest, I'm not sure, other than maybe Lindelof, but I feel like Shaw is just a better player and attacking option than Lindelof. So yeah, I think Shaw's the best Man United defender. I think he's going to play both games of the double. I think he's going to play in 38 as well. And to be honest, just thinking of the Man United defence as a whole, I think he's probably the best of the attacking options from that defence as well. He's only got 3 attacking returns this season, but to be honest, Man United as a whole, there's not many like attacking returns that come from their fullbacks. They don't play like an inverted fullback like the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal and Man City used to. So I don't feel like it's a, the onus is on the fullbacks to get many attacking returns at the moment in that United team. But again, similar to what we talked about with De Gea, Shaw himself hasn't because he's had a few games out, but Man United have kept the most clean sheets of any team in the league. So I think it bodes well for picking Luke Shaw. Another Man United player, with Rashford being a doubt, obviously he is the best Man United option in my opinion, but it's hard to make a video saying pick Marcus Rashford when he's missed the Wolves game entirely because of injury. So the next best thing is Bruno Fernandes. And to be honest, I think if you've currently got Rashford, you just wait for the news to break, whether he's injured or he's going to play. Then either you could take him out for Bruno, or you could buy Bruno Fernandes alongside him if Rashford is fit. For me, he's clearly the second best Man United asset. He's absolutely nailed to play in that team. This season, he's even played 90 minutes when he's been injured. I feel like another thing, I haven't mentioned it with the other Man United players, but another sort of string to the Man United bow is that they've still got something to play for. They're still playing for a place in the top 4. It's almost sealed for them, but it's not entirely guaranteed. So I feel like Man United are going to have to turn up in their remaining few fixtures, especially in game week 37. And for Fernandes, we all know he's on penalties and set pieces. So regardless of the game he plays in, he can always get a return from one of those. And just in general, his underlying numbers have improved a lot. At the start of the season, they were pretty woeful, really, when he was playing the sort of deeper creative midfield role. But since Ten Hag has been using him in the number 10 position when Casemiro and Eriksen have got integrated into the team, the attacking returns have shot up. So I'd say in the last 3 or 4 months, it's probably even better than 0.66 returns per 90. But that's still a great number, and he is a great option for 37. Okay, my next one is a player to avoid, and I probably gave this away when I spoke about David De Gea, but if you're considering Ederson, I'd urge you to reconsider, basically. I'd just go David De Gea instead. For me, if you were an Ederson, you bought Ederson a few weeks ago when going into his double game weeks with what looked like good clean sheet potential, I just think you've gotten really unlucky. But I think we've had enough time to see that Man City aren't quite as locked into clean sheets as they were previously, and Ederson, he's not making any saves either, so he's kept only 10 clean sheets this season, and he doesn't make saves bonus. So for that reason, with Chelsea, Brighton and Brentford, they're not the easiest games. I don't know, I feel like all of those teams could score, and Ederson's not going to get saves bonus, so that could be 3 blanks coming up for him. Obviously I could be wrong, that the outcome is completely out of my control. Man City could really turn a screw defensively and keep the clean sheets, but based on the data we've got and how we've seen them play, they're conceding goals pretty much every game. For that reason, I'd be avoiding Ederson. Might sound a bit weird telling people to avoid Man City players going into a double game week, but hear me out. They've got Madrid midweek, right? And then I feel like the team against Madrid is going to be Pep's strongest 11. And then he's got a game at the weekend and then a game midweek straight after. With all that mixed in, can you say that there's any player beyond possibly Haaland, even he could get a rest, right? But beyond Haaland and Ederson, and I've already said that Ederson is a player to avoid, beyond those 2 players, is there anyone you think is nailed to play both of the games? I don't think you can safely say that. And not only that, I think if one player does play both games of the Premier League double game week, surely they're going to get limited minutes. With the size of the squad that Pep has, just the way he plays, makes early substitutions, etc. I just don't see 2 players that start both games. In the comments, let me know if you've got any to mind. Obviously, it's probably going to come, in my opinion, from maybe the midfield and defence. Obviously, the left and right wing for City, that will get rotated quite a lot. Fullback's possibly going to get rotated. There could be a centre-back that plays both games, and maybe Rodri does, but Rodri, you're not going to be picking him in FPL, really. So for that reason, I'm just a little bit turned off by Man City assets at the moment. Let me know what you think, though, in the comments. And that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comments and leave a like rating on the video. And if you're new around here, please subscribe to the Golden Goal channel. It was a little bit Man United heavy, I'll admit, but I don't like just going for rogue picks for the sake of it. Just looking at the game weeks we've got left and the fixtures we've got left, I can't ignore that you need to be tripled up on Man United, really. So that's why the video is so Man United heavy. I'll see you in the next one.